Welcome back to another week of Limbus Company, patch node analysis, and new identity/ego overview. This week, we've got Devyat Association Rodion and Bygone Days Ishmael, alongside some various changes, but nothing too big. The end of the World Purchase Night event, though, so that's fairly major. But anyways, let's get straight into this with, of course, Devyat Association North, Section 3 Rodion.
쉴 만큼 쉬었으니까 다시 가볼까? 다들 옷 단단히 여미고. 좋아, 이 정도면 금방 처리하고 떠날 수 있겠다. 너희들도 민기적거리지 말고 괜히 배달비 삭감된다고 나중에 툴툴대지 말고. 여 근처에 유포를 숨겨뒀던 것 같은데. 배달 좌표 2배에서의 잠금이 기록 삭제 버튼이 어디 있더라? 권한 없음. 적대 세력 감지. 플루드린 차 강력 배달 모드 기록.
Devyat Rodion is our first time seeing the Devyat Association. It's been mentioned a few times so far in Limbus, but their main goal is transportation of various packages, right? We don't know too much yet. We'll know more from the Rodion Upside story, I'm sure, but that's the basic thing here, and that's vaguely what she focuses on. She's got a big, transport machine that she uses as a weapon as well. It's got a bunch of various, appendage and stuff that stick out of it, do damage. She's a Rupture ID, she's got some haste synergy, and she's got her own unique status effect thingy. So let's take a look at that first. Courier Trunk starts out at 0, gains X each turn. I'd assume 1, but it might be weird. We'll see, I guess, right? But the main idea is, this gives more min and max speed values at low amounts. At medium amounts, it's giving clash power up and slash damage up. And at high amounts, it starts to make it so that you take damage whenever you use skills and turn. So it's nice to stack up to a decent degree, but if it stacks up too high, you start to take a lot of self-damage. And it just keeps on getting higher and higher because, well, it doesn't state if there's a max to this Courier Trunk, right? But a lot of her skills rely on it. She gains coin power from it with most of her skills, occasionally damage up as well on her skill 2 and skill 3, I think. But yeah, so skill 1, Courier Trunk Decay Knife, 2 coin Lust / skill, gain coin power for every X Courier Trunk on self and for every Y Rupture on the target. If target has a certain amount of Rupture and Rupture count, skill does not consume target's Rupture count on hit, but does not inflict Rupture with the skill's on hit effects. So she's got an interesting thing going on here where she's supposed to be a Rupture burster with not great Rupture infliction, but still neutral on Rupture count most of the time, right? That's the entire bit they're going on here, potentially Red Sheet Sinclair synergy. I don't know. But yeah, you can see that effect is also going to be on her skill too. So there's a decent amount of Rupture already on the target. She didn't inflict any potency, but she also doesn't spend any count. So that can be nice. First coin gains Courier Trunk, and if you're low Courier Trunk, you gain even more Courier Trunk. And the second coin inflicts Rupture, although that Rupture is removed if, the conditional aforementioned, was triggered. Skill 2, Courier Trunk Gadget Reveal, 3 coin Wrath / skill, more damage for every Courier Trunk on self, and more coin power for every Courier Trunk and Rupture on the target. Target has X plus Rupture, skill does not consume target's Rupture count on hit. That's copy from the skill 1, although you still do inflict Rupture potency with the skill 2, even when that triggers, although your Rupture potency infliction doesn't seem to be too high here. But yeah, once again, first coin, gain Courier Trunk, gain more Courier Trunk at low Courier Trunk. A lot of what she has going on here seems to be that, well, when she's low Courier Trunk, she's going to build up a decent bit of it. When she's high, she shouldn't build it up as fast, which is good. Makes it so not as likely to kill her when it's high. Although, we really need to see the numbers. This is an ID where the numbers are such a big thing, and that's true for every ID, but when you've got a unit that potentially can kill herself really easily if you're not careful, it really does make a big difference. Your second coin, Headset gain haste next turn, and gain additional haste at a certain amount of Courier Trunk. You can see some of this haste synergy. There's not too much benefit for being high speed, but stuff like how Courier Trunk is giving min and max speed values, and she's got haste from this. Her passive also gives haste, her skill 3 also gives haste, that sort of thing. Speaking of her skill, or no, they're not done with skill 2. Getting ahead of myself. Third coin of the skill 2 inflicts defense level down for every X career self and rupture on the target. I thought that inflict rupture. No, your skill 2 doesn't inflict any rupture anywhere. Ignore what I was saying earlier about the skill 2 inflicting rupture, because it just doesn't. Very weird, you know, rupture is kind of the status effect that needs the most support right now. And I don't know if it really needs another unit that's good at bursting down rupture. It really needs something unique, right? Might have been better off if this was just charge. I don't know. Just kind of spitballing. But yeah, some defense level down can be nice. It's same turn, but this is a very speed-focused unit, so it could work fairly well, right? But yeah, now moving on to our skill 3. I trust you, Polu. 3 coin gluttony / skill. More damage, coin power for courier trunk, same stuff as previous skills. If the target has high rupture and rupture count, however, this skill does not inflict with the rupture count on his effects once again, but it reuses its last coin, so it goes into a 4-coiner. Second coin inflicts rupture count and additional rupture count based on courier trunk on self. This is nice, I suppose, because, well, if the target doesn't have a lot of rupture, you get the rupture count, and if they do have a lot of rupture, instead you're going to do a lot of damage. But unlike the first 2 skills, this one does still get rid of rupture count on target, so really can only use it well if there's a lot of rupture on target. Maybe, like, it's decent rupture count infliction. Could be the case, I don't know. But you can see, third coin on hit, deal more damage at high courier trunk, and after attack if the target is defeated or staggered, gain haste next turn. Simple enough stuff. Very weird mechanic, but we haven't gotten to the weirdest part yet. So her normal counter, courier support and control sequence, 1 coin / gluttony counter. At a high courier trunk, instead activate her secondary defensive skill. And if this skill is to be activated, gain courier trunk % of the unit's max HP as shield, and gain courier trunk with more courier trunk at low courier trunk. Yeah. So that's simple enough. You can just kind of get courier trunk potentially faster. Assumably it's going to be higher than using like skill 1 and skill 2, so you can use that if you want to. And at high courier trunk, you instead get strategic time off, which is her alternate defensive skill, right? Also 1 coin, also slash, also gluttony. If skill to be activated, gain courier trunk % of the unit's max HP as shield, and activate strategic R&R mode. This is her other very weird mechanic. Turn and recover from stagger and retreat from the encounter. Unless it's force staggered, it does not count as a death. In chain battles, give this unit slots to a substitute unit and move to the rearmost place in the backup unit's deployment order. Escape from the encounter entirely if there are no other backup units remaining to slot place with next turn. When returning to battle, return in the order that they retreated in. When returning to battle, return with the same amount of HP and SP when they retreated, and eliminate all effects on self for a select few, and reset SP to 0 if you were low SP. But yeah, so basically, her alternate counter allows her to leave the battle. In normal encounters, I mean, she's just gone for the rest of the battle, right? Like, if you're in, like, most fights, that's all. But in chain encounters, instead, she basically just moves to the furthest most, right? Now, it's stated in such a way where if you select only 6 units in the chain battle, and there's no one to serve as a backup, then it treats it like a normal encounter. Rodion just flees from the battle entirely. But if you had, like, say, 7 units, you could have her flee, and then if one of your people dies, she'd come back in. That sort of thing. And you can see her normal passive, her non-resonance passive, let me go and I swear I'll make it in time. When rejoining with strategic R&R mode in chain battles, have the courier trunk value. So that's nice. Interesting that, you know, it means that courier trunk value isn't halved otherwise, right? That's interesting. Her passive, speedy delivery, at X plus speed, every unit has haste, gain courier trunk % of the unit's max HP as shield. This is like the only like direct synergy she has for her speed stuff, really. Other than the fact like her skill 2's got some vents. She's like decently works well as a high speed unit, but she doesn't really set the rupture too much, so she really feels like she doesn't have like, it seems inconsistent, right? A unit really built around bursting rupture count with not great rupture infliction, you'd really want to be low speed, right? Simply just because, well, it would give the people who with good rupture count the time to set it up, but weird to make a unit so high speed and kind of potentially might hurt from it, really, depending on how things go. But also, on retreat, apply Clash Power up to 2 allies next turn, prioritize the substitute units first, then in deployment order, and last for additional turns for every X courier trunk on self. So we used the example from before, and you selected 7 units, 6 in the front, 1 chain person. As soon as Rodion flees, the person who substitutes her and the first deployed Sinner are the ones that gain this Clash power-up. In fact, it's only Clash power makes it seem like it's not particularly, like, insane, right? Like, it was, like, Clash power and, like, damage up or just offensive or something that might be better. It depends on how much Clash power up, I suppose, but don't know if it really warrants fleeing the battle with Rodion. I'd like it if, like, she fled the battle and she gave some, like, decent buffs to her allies when that happened, right? To, like, make it a bit of a trade-off. Also, think about the fact that in non-chain battles, as soon as this triggers, you're just reduced to 5 people for the rest of the battle, right? And chain battles are only in Railway 4, the Walpurgis Knight, Mirror Dungeon floor, and the actual, like, Murder Express floor, right? That's all there is that has it now, alongside, of course, the respective things that aren't in Mirror Dungeon. But yeah, so not a lot of things have chain battle. Maybe next Mirror Dungeon is gonna, like, make it so all fights are chain battles actually now, or it's something like that. I could see it happening, right? It's a solid maybe, but until that point, don't know how much this was gonna really do most of the time, right? Support passive, outstanding courier, make it to 1 out of the fastest speed, gains Clash power skills, and like Rupture. Yeah, cool. All in all, a very interesting seeming unit. Her courier trunk retreat. Her retreat thing is really the most interesting thing. She can just retreat the battle in fear of taking too much damage. Although I think the main issue with her is I don't know if she's gonna be strong enough to really counterbalance it. Like, obviously you're gonna want her on Rupture teams because Rupture's only got 2 really solid 3-stars right now, and like some mid ones, and it's mostly 2-star reliant still. Don't really think this is going to do enough to fix Rupture. Maybe she'll be better when we do get some more Rupture support. Definitely feeling like we're going to get some next season. Some, like, big, like, Rupture meta shakers or something. I don't know. Although she seems really cool, though, that's for sure. I'm going to enjoy using her a lot. And we'll just have to see how it goes, right? Moving on, however, to the ego. Ishmael Bygone Days.
주인께서 명하셨습니다. 당신을 청소하라고. 네가 계속 저택을 더럽히고 있어.
Ishmael Bygone Days. Both versions of it are, you know, Gloom / single coin skills. It's a Teth, so it goes into the same slot as her Roseate Desire and her Capote. Nothing super important, so this one can easily take over that slot as, like, the normal thing slotted into the Teth slot. Especially because this ego seems really strong. That's for sure. So on Awakening, gain attack weight based on resonance, gain more attack weight if it was a Gloom resonance, sort of thing you see on like every ego. However, after attack, heal 2 allies with the lowest HP based on how much sinking the target has. We don't know how much sinking this is going to be. Since it's only 2 allies, it's probably like going to be like 10, or probably like, I'm trying to think of it like balanced on like Pursuance, right? Because Pursuance also a 2 ally healer and it heals 30%. Maybe that'll be like a high. I expect maybe like 10 to 20% reliably from this, maybe. Potentially even more, right? We'll have to see. And you can also see that the highest resonance was a certain Gloom resonance, heal even more of the max HP. So, I mean, that's nice, I guess, right? We'll have to see exactly how that healing thing goes. But also, you know, it says coin 2 there. I'm pretty sure it's just a issue, but inflict singing count, curse, gloom for agility, and the uninvited. Singing count, of course, count for singing. Curse is the thing that Hexnail and Gregor Bygone Days has. It's just like random debuffs each turn for a couple of turns. It's pretty minor. I guess the most insane thing here is probably like the fact like this is an ego with forced effects on it. Could be really good for like ring gaming. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the uninvited is a new status effect. You can see it down at the bottom. Upon this unit's death, the last attacker heals SP, then a random ally without this effect gains X stacks of this effect, and they take more damage for every sinking on self. Yeah. It's a bit weird, that's for sure. But it's kind of similar to, like, think about how, like, Echoes of the Manor kind of, like, spreads between enemies, right? Uninvited, you just kill the person with uninvited, then another ally takes the uninvited instead, and you'll just heal some SP, and they're going to be taking more damage based on the sinking. That sort of thing. Depends on how much, that's for sure. And it's reduced at turn end, so it'll probably be like a 2-3 infliction sort of thing, right? We'll have to see. Very interesting for sure. But the corrosion is actually the real interesting one here. Once again, we're getting another sinking ego with, you know, a heavy focus on corrosion. Ryan Shank, you know, type deal, right? But indiscriminate prioritizes targets with the most sinking. This is going to be a fairly safe, like, ego to corrode, simply because it's going to prioritize targets with the most sinking, right? It's chances are it's going to target the enemy you want to target, as long as it's like turn 2 onwards, right? You're running it around like a sinking team, which you probably are because, you know, Molar Ishmael is just really good for sinking. But she loses some HP to use this ego. It's the one drawback. It should be mostly fine. And also the heal from the Awakening form can heal Ishmael, but the corrosion can only heal other allies. You can see here 3 other allies with lowest HP based on singing on the main target. Heal additional allies at high resonance, and if the high resonance is gloom resonance, even more HP healing. And you can see it's mostly the exact same status effects as the Awakening form. It's got, you know, the Gloom Fragility seems to be more, you know, dependent on the Gloom Resonance, being able to get multiple, I guess. But also, if you look at the very end, inflict Echoes of the Manor next turn. We now have a way to inflict Echoes of the Manor on demand. We'll have to see how much it is. I'm guessing it'll be like maybe like a 2 Echoes of the Manor or something like that. Like, not too high. But still, Echoes of the Manor on command, you can just pop the corrosion first turn, maybe wait till like second turn if you're too worried about it hitting the enemies you don't want to hit in certain fights, right? But you can just get Echoes of the Manor without needing to like rely on like an Otis or a Faust skill 3, right? And Echoes of the Manor is just really solid in general for maintaining sinking count, so just seems like a really solid ego. It's got a little bit of everything. The HP healing, I'm not sure how big of a deal it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be crazy. It is a Teth. Most of the good healing egos we have are He's, right? So if it's a Teth, it'll probably not be as much as, say, a Pursuance, but it'll probably still be pretty good. Ego passive, Interloper Reception. Target has uninvited or any of the panic type changing effects, that is Echoes of the Manor or Ruin. Gain Clash Power on hit against the said target, and heal SP for one ally with the least SP. So, I mean, just a nice passive that centers what she's got pretty heavily. If you're running a singing team, the enemies are going to have uninvited Echoes of the Manor or Ruin pretty frequently, that's for sure. But yeah, overall, seems like a really solid ego. We'll have to see how some of the numbers work out. Like, the singing count infliction, I'm really not expecting to be great. Maybe like I don't know. It could be good, that's for sure. But, you know, that corrosion, you know, inflicting 5 debuffs at the same time. Shame they're releasing this after Walpurgis ends, because otherwise this could be really good for people who are still suffering through that one mission and inflict 6 status effects the same turn. But oh well. Seems pretty cool. Moving on to the actual patch notes of the update. It's nothing too major, that's for sure. But, you know, new content, new target extraction Ryoshu. So if you want to actually get, I guess, you can pull, like, Soda Ryoshu and, Chef Ryoshu here, so that could be nice, I guess, if you don't want to have to shard those 2 things and you still don't have them, since you can only shard them or get them the Sinner target extraction specific stuff. So I guess that's an option, I don't know. Major changes, Walpurgis Night's ending, make sure to actually, well, do all the pulls you want to do before then, right? It'll be a few months before next Walpurgis. Next Walpurgis is probably going to be like December-ish, right? So if you want to get anything, do it while you still can. Bunch of bug fixes and stuff. They're changing how, you know, stagger stuff works. You need to actually take physical HP damage to get staggered now. There'd be sometimes in the past where you'd have a unit, you know, under the stagger threshold thanks to, like, bleed or something, and then it gets staggered by, like, a mass attack that deals 0 damage. That'll no longer be the case now. It needs to actually do HP damage to get staggered now. So that's pretty nice, I suppose, right? Fixing an issue where apparently Ryoshu is missing animation frames for Skullbuster, which is interesting. Fixing Curse to make it more clear. It's the exact same effect it's always been, but just clarifying it. That sort of thing. Some various bug fixes here and there for various things, right? And, of course, 300 Lunacy, as you expect. But yeah, that will be all for this time. The ID and the Ego look pretty cool, both of them do. The ID especially has got some unique gimmicks going forward. We'll have to see how it works. Like, it's like most of the association, like, first IDs, right? It's kind of like a test sort of thing. The other IDs for that association in the future might change some things up, like how Sanct Dawn was followed by, well, a bunch of poise units that were mostly the same, but still fairly different because of the existence of poise, right? So this is going to be a little bit of a test thing, and obviously it's going to be the case that this Rodion is going to be suffering until we get chain battles more frequently, because it definitely seems like she's built around them to some degree. Maybe she'll be good next Kanto, who knows? But anyways, that'll be all for this time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!